Hey guys, I am back today for another fun video. So today we're going to be talking about feminine grooming habits and how I've been using my strengths that I already have and that I've discussed in my previous videos as far as the feminine energy that I already possess, and then my weaknesses and how I'm building them up to get back in tune with my feminine power and my feminine energy. So kind of give you a background if this happens to be the first video that you land on my channel. Hi, I'm Mina Irfan. This is my YouTube channel, and I don't even know where to start. For most of my life, I've lived my life in very masculine mode, survival mode, man mode, just dominating from my masculine energy, which has served me really well in my life. I find that it's led me to great success. However, I have come to a point in my life where I've realized that there's something more that I want, and it's on the other end of the street. And in order to cross the street, I need to be able to tune into this other power that I've been kind of blind to for most of my life, this feminine energy and feminine power. So that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about, on how I'm learning to reconnect with that power and why I guess I was kind of blind to it. I think one of the main reasons that I was blind to the fact that I did not have enough balance in my life when it came to masculine versus feminine power is because of my outer shell. My outer layer is very feminine. In fact, I have been told by females all of my life that I have a very strong female essence, which I think made me think that that's what men were reading it as well, and that is definitely not the case. I shared with you guys in my previous video that I did, my live chat from last week, about feminine energy versus masculine energy routine, and how all of my life I found that when I would encounter any man, whether this is my brother, my cousins, colleagues, classmates, the guy at Starbucks, like any man that I ever encountered in my life felt very competitive in my presence, and I could never understand that until now. So when the universe brought this information to me, and it's been an eye-opening thing. I've spent a lot of time researching it now. I'm like really consumed in it, right? My first thought, of course, was, okay, great, I have this information, like let's get a strategy going, let's have a plan, and let's figure out how I'm going to do this. And then I looked at that and I'm like, wait, that's very masculine energy again, isn't it? Being very goal-oriented, being very linear in my thinking and very logical in the way that I move, and very much like, let's do this, that again is very masculine energy. So I'm like, okay, I can't reach my goal of being more in tune to my feminine energy by using masculine tactics again. Now, for those of you guys that may be wondering, Mina, if you're so good at this masculine stuff, if you have this down pat and you're saying yourself that this makes you successful in life, like why would you want to be in tune with your feminine energy, right? Well, let's start by saying that all of us, male, female, somewhere in between, all of us have both masculine and feminine qualities, and we need all of them. We need both of those, right? We need the masculine to get things done, to be successful in our careers, and to be goal focused and all those wonderful things that we want to achieve. But we also need our feminine energy to connect with people, to flow with life, and to basically be in tune with who we really are as females. We all have feminine energy, but because of the society that we now live in, we have been taught to lead with our masculine energy because we've been taught that feminine energy is weak. Not the case at all. I'm learning now that feminine energy is very powerful. In fact, you have to be really powerful in your core on the inside to be able to have a shell that is very soft. So you cannot have true feminine energy and power without having a strong core, without being very self-confident, and without being self-assured and powerful, and having strong boundaries on the inside. So when I realized that, now I was approaching this new journey of trying to get in tune with my feminine energy again by using my masculine qualities, I said, no, I can't do this. So the first thing I decided to do was make a list of the things that I already have that are pretty in tune with my feminine energy. Because, it's not that I don't have it, it's just that I lead more with my masculine energy. I'm just more in tune to do that because that's what I've been doing since I was a little girl. I know so many of you guys are here. Hi guys. I will be taking plenty of questions and participations and things because I think this is such an important and lovely topic that we all need to be in tune with. I'm realizing in my research now that there's so many health hazards to not being in tune with or having like a balanced energy of both masculine and feminine. Ideally, if you are female, you want to be leading with feminine most of the time, and then masculine and masculine's 30-40% of the time, and you need to be able to toggle between and forth if you have a job or if you have strong goals of business or you have goals in life that you need to achieve. You're going to have to be someone that can toggle between the two. So this is very much a journey for me. It's a work in progress. I am by far not an expert in this. I'm just doing this research and sharing this journey with you guys in the hopes that you guys will enjoy it and maybe be inspired by it if you so choose to be. So first thing I started with was saying, okay, what are my strengths? And I realized that one of the key strengths that I have in my feminine energy is my self-care. This is something that I teach on my channel. It's something that I teach in my coaching. And this is something that I can honestly say that I have down pat. I am very good in my self-care. I take care of my nutrition, what I eat. I have a really awesome fitness routine. Now, I would argue that my fitness routine perhaps is a little too masculine, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more fluid and feminine. But that, again, it's a work in progress. I'm amazing with my grooming. And my grooming, now, one disclaimer I want to give is that feminine energy doesn't have a lot. It has some stuff to do with how you look on the outside, but not really. There could be somebody that looks, a female that looks very sort of, masculine in the look maybe, but could be projecting female energy from the way that she is, her being, right? Because she may have some other things down. And then there may be somebody who's this extreme girly girl, but the way she talks and her energy and the way she carries herself may be very masculine. So it's not just about your appearance. However, I will say that taking care of your body and taking care of your grooming and taking care of yourself, taking that time to nurture those things can help unleash your female energy and make you more in tune with it. So that part, you guys know, I've always had down. So I've been very good with that. And some of the reasons why that's essential is because it helps you develop better body confidence. It helps you be a confident, more secure person. It puts you in tune with your female sexuality, your energy. And so that's why I think that it's still important, even though it's not essential, you would say. But I would argue that it's so important that your grooming and the way you take care of yourself. Now, grooming, there's two ways I look at it. There's the actual act of grooming, right? Like, making your eyebrows and doing your self-care routine, like your shower and all that stuff, nail polish, right? And then there's the grooming yourself to be more in tune with your feminine energy. I think I have the first portion right. I do my nails, I make sure my grays are covered, I do all of that. I wasn't grooming myself to be in tune with my feminine energy. So that's the portion I'm working on. Some of the things that I think helped me stay in tune with my feminine energy in some small degree over the years, even though, boy, was it imbalanced, is the fact that I always wore matching lingerie under my clothing, matching underwear, matching bra sets, and I think that made me feel very feminine in some way. I always dress up every single day. I don't, stay in my pajamas, anything like that. I love dressing up, so I do that. I take care of my hair, I take care of my skin, I eat really good foods. I make sure that any hair that's unwanted is taken care of. My nails, well, that's kind of, sometimes I'm more in the mood for that, but I try to make sure that my nails are taken care of most of the time. I shave my legs year round. This isn't something that I do because somebody's looking, but just for myself, I'm looking. I am worthy of having a well-groomed body for my own sexuality, for my own personal needs. And if somebody happens to be looking, that's awesome, but this is just for me. So I've always taken care of those things, and I think those things are important. I've been good at having some personal space as far as growing is important to me, learning is important to me, so I have created space for that in my life. And my strengths also as far as feminine energy has been that I've developed a very healthy body image. I am very secure and comfortable in my body. I'm not, even though having born in a culture, I mean, I was born and raised in the US, but because of my background and my culture, there is this aspect of sexuality is shameful, or, you know, you're not supposed to flaunt your sexuality, everything's supposed to be covered, and I appreciate some parts of that, but at the same time, I think there's nothing dirty about being in tune with your sexuality. It's a very natural human process, and, you know, sex is not dirty. The act of sex or lovemaking is not dirty. I think, you know, how people perceive it, or it's just like, you know, money, they say, amplifies what your core personality is. If you're an evil person, money seems evil because you can do evil things with money. Same thing with guns. If you're an evil person, you're going to do something bad with a gun. If you're not, it's not going to affect you in any way. So it's same thing is with sexuality, I say. So I have a very healthy development of myself, my body image, and I have accepted my imperfections, and I value my body. So I think those were my strengths. Now the things that I needed to work at, I will list through, but let's see what some of you guys are saying. Hi Nisha, I always seem to catch you while I'm at work. Loving these videos, very informative. Sorry Nisha, but I'm glad that you were able to come in and say hi. Sharmila said, hi Mina, the feminine versus masculine topic has enlightened me, and for every task that I do, I start thinking, is this masculine or feminine quality? And this is when we're in that sort of, with any new thing that we start, it's very good to have that self-awareness, and I find myself doing that right now too, because it's new, right? It's new to us. It's not, and some of the things that I'm about to share with you guys will help you in that, but I find that because I've been leading with my masculine energy I'm going to be 37 next month, I can honestly say probably at least for 30 years I've been leading with my masculine energy. So it's not that the feminine energy if you are born human, you have both the feminine and masculine. If you're born female, you have more of the feminine at some point, but then you lose it. Society, survival mode, having to earn money, all the things that we have to tackle now, we suppress that feminine energy because our culture has taught us that feminine energy is weak. It is not the truth. Feminine energy actually is way more powerful if you use it correctly, if you really harness it, than masculine energy. Think about it. It's the difference between going out and in like, let's imagine an army. It's the difference between having to go out and fight every fight yourself, or having the power to be able to have people come to you and fight for you, right? That's which is more powerful, being, you know, you can lead with feminine energy, and you have that masculine energy that's like at your beck and call, willing to do whatever you want for you. So feminine energy is very powerful if you can lead to it. It's what connects people. It's that community. It's the love. It's really the essence of life. It's all the things that are beautiful. And I think men have feminine energy too. They needed to be amazing fathers and good sons and all that stuff, because again, there's that connection part, right? But it's the women that pull that. They need us to teach them that. They basically feed off of it from us. So we need to be in tune with our feminine energy. It's extremely powerful. So let's talk about some of the things that I'm having to relearn. I'm having to dig deep and really get it out of me. And I'm having to shut off some things at certain times. So it's not that I'm not going to have my masculine energy anymore. I have a business that I run, right? I need to be very masculine when I'm in my business, and that's okay. But I need to be able to toggle between the two if I want a very healthy and nurturing, connected, very emotional, romantic relationship with my husband. And that's important to me. I know that I got some comments on the other video, most of them positive, but I got a couple saying that you're dumbing yourself down for a man and things like that. Not at all. My husband is a very high quality man. He's not the type of man that wants to be with a dumb woman. Believe me, he searched out, waited 7 years for the right woman to come along to marry because intelligence was so important to him. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions of what feminine energy means, first of all. And so I talked about this a little bit in my other video, but feminine energy is fluid, it's curvy, it's calm, it's open, it's nurturing, it connects. Masculine energy is very linear, it's very straight line, it's very end goal focused, it's a doer. So masculine energy is doing and feminine energy is being. You need both, you need a balance of both, but I'm trying to strive for my life to be 60 to 70 feminine and 30 masculine, whereas right now it's the complete opposite. I would say my life as it was a few weeks ago before I started working on this, it was 70-80% masculine and about 20% feminine. For a female, that is very imbalanced, and that's not what I want to live, right? That's not the life that I want to live. So I'm trying to balance myself out. And boy, I wish I could go back in time and have this conversation with my mom, because I could see her life was entirely masculine, a lot of imbalance there. So wow, yes, I wish I could go back. So the one thing that I'm trying to do is in my interactions with my family members, with everybody, with you guys, everybody that I'm encountering, even the grocery clerk, right? Everybody, male, female, I'm having this moment where I'm having to remind myself, connect with people versus solve people. Because of the thing that I do and because of the survival mode that I've been for most of my life, because of my businesses that I've owned over the years, I've been a very much in like problem solving mode. When people tell me a problem, I cannot help it but instantly go into problem solving mode. And some people need that, but most people don't. And even if they do, I need to be able to connect to them first to realize and hear and hear all the information, and then see if they want me to solve their problem. And so I'm literally having this conversation with myself when I hear somebody talking to me is, get out of your mind and get into your heart. This is something I'm repeating to myself. It's a new affirmation for me, is I need to get out of my head and I need to lead with my heart. I need to have an open heart so that I'm listening to people fully and connecting to them and not going into instant man mode and trying to solve their problem. That is not what they're coming. If they, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. When people see me, they see a female and they're coming to me to connect with me and to have that openness and that flow, and what they're getting is they're getting a man solving their problems. So this is one that I'm strictly working on right now, and it's taking effort right now because it's new, and eventually I hope that I can get to a place where it becomes second nature and not having to have that mantra going off constantly. Thank you, Nasheen. Samaya. Abisha said, you are such an inspiration. Thank you for motivating in all the ways possible. Thank you so much. What a great compliment. Abisha said, it's splurging money on self-care such as parlor and beauty care a waste of money? It's reasonable in India though. It depends on you and what your financial goals are, how much you can budget for those things. I will touch on that a little bit more. Personally, I do all of my self-care myself for several reasons. One, it saves me time because I can do it at home. And secondly, it saves me money. And thirdly, I think there's the experience of self-care is such an important part. And I feel like if somebody else is doing it for me, I'm the type of person that I will miss it. So for example, if I'm applying lotion on myself, applying it in a very feminine, sensual way helps me connect with my feminine power. Same thing with shaving my legs. I just don't shave my legs like very quickly. I do it in a very sexual, kind of sensual manner because it's like me connecting with my body. It's me noticing all the beauty that is contained in my body. So to me, it's important to do it myself. Now, if that's not something that you value, that is completely okay. If you can afford to do it, it's cheap where you live, and that to you, having the experience of laying back and letting somebody take care of you, maybe that's more sensual, then you do that. I don't think there's one right answer. for everybody. You need to do what, you know, we all live in different countries. We've got different financial goals and things, so it really varies. But that's a great question, by the way. I love that question. So number 3 for me is, and this is a hard one, guys. This is one that the connect versus solve was number 2. Number 3 for me, this is a tough one, is female energy is all about being able to surrender and being able to receive. And I have always come from a very giving sort of point, because I'm the older of, you know, 3 siblings, and I had to always take care of them since I've been a mother, I say, since I was 7, because my parents used to work full-time, and I was solely responsible for my siblings for large quantities of time. And so when I was 7 years old, I was alone at home watching a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old for long hours, and sometimes overnight. So I've always been a mom, and it's hard for me to surrender, because I'm coming from a place of power. I'm coming from a place of authority where people are looking up to me, and they are needing me for their basic survival. They're needing me to protect them, right? That's a very masculine kind of need to protect. And so it's been very hard for me to surrender and just be like, you know what? Right now, my husband wants to do this for me, and just accept it and receive it and be gracious and say thank you without having this need to do something immediately back for him. No, He's doing something for me. I am deserving of somebody to love me and protect me. And not that I can't do it. I have proven over and over again to myself that I can be a man anytime, and most of the time I can do it better than a man. But that is not what I want to do right now. I want to connect with my feminine energy, and I want to reconnect with that and bring some of that about, because I think that will enhance my quality of life, my health, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my friends and extended family members. So to me, there is that part of me, having grown up in the American culture and having been so masculine all of my life, leading with that. There is this push and pull that I'm having to do. There's this constant, does this make me weak? No. You know, there's this constant battle that's happening in my head. I want to be very open with you guys about that. It's not about flipping a switch and being like, okay, I'm feminine now. I'm having this battle, and I'm working through it with myself right now. And so I'm literally, these are my affirmations where I'm just saying it's okay to surrender. There is a power to surrendering, to letting go and being open to receive. One of the affirmations that I posted, I do daily affirmations in my private Facebook group, where I will just share one daily affirmation. And one of the ones I shared last week was, I am open to giving and receiving love. Right? And so for masculine energy, giving is important. It's an important part of their energy. And for the female energy, being able to receive that without having to immediately give something back is very feminine energy. So I'm just learning to say thank you, versus immediately saying, okay, well, what can I do back for him, right? Because that's just how I am. Being open to receiving and being open to surrendering. Number 4 is, this is a big one. Let me actually take some of your questions and I'll get to number 4. Killian said, yes, I do the problem solving thing too. Never thought about it until now. Killian, it's the society that we live in. It's our circumstances that we live in. I think a lot of times when we look very feminine on the outside, that can actually almost work against us, because we think, hey, we got the feminine part covered. I put some lipstick on, like, it's done. But in our behavior and the energy that we are sending off to the world, it's very masculine. Now, what's the problem with that? Here's the problem. If you are wanting your man to step up and be a man and be leading with his masculine energy, he is not going to be able to do it in the presence of your masculine energy, because now he's competing with your energy. There's no polarity there. He's competing with you. And that's where I kept saying all of my life, and my mom was like, me too. Why do men feel competitive in my energy? There were literally times where I would be like, why is my cousin like comparing himself to me? I'm a single mom. This was like years ago when I used to be a single mom. I'm like, why is he's a man. Like, how dare this man compare himself to a single mom? And it's because my my feminine and my masculine energy was making him competitive, and he didn't realize this. So I experienced this. Now when we do this with our husbands, here we are asking them to step up to the plate and be a man and be masculine and give us flowers and romance us and take us on amazing dates. But then we're leading with our masculine energy, and they're thinking they don't want to take a dude out for dinner. They don't want to bring a dude flowers. They don't know this is happening. It's all subconscious. It's all energy. It's evolution. Like, we're designed to do this. And basically we're fighting against nature. We're asking our men to be men when we're men in the room, same room as energy, and they can't do it. They just can't do it, and they don't know why. They're probably confused that there is this gorgeous wife of mine or my girlfriend, and here's this beautiful woman, and all I'm feeling is repelled away from her. I'm feeling competitive in her energy. They don't know what's happening. This is what's happening. And so this has been really an eye-opening thing for me. And with this shift, I'm noticing such a huge shift in my relationship with my husband, with my relationship with other people around me, my children even. Because when my son would, my 13-year-old, he's going to be 13 in a few weeks, I can't believe it. He would come to me with any problem. My instant reaction was to solve it for him. And now it's this shift where he will come to me with a problem, and I'm like, how did that make you feel? I'm listening. And I notice that his reactions are very different because he's going more into his emotions with me versus just kind of like, okay, there's this problem, let's solve it together. And it's not that I don't want to give him solutions. I do. At the end of the conversation, when I'm fully comfortable with how much he said, I've helped him work through his emotions and how it made him feel, and work through, because I don't want my son to develop, both of my sons to develop into the type of men that are not in tune with their emotions, because their mom instantly always went into man mode when they came to her, right? So this is something I'm working at for myself and for my family. And so the fourth one that I wanted to talk to you guys was, feminine energy is very experience focused versus result focused. So one of the things that made me almost sad when I discovered this, I was like, well, does this mean that I've been so successful in my life with being able to achieve all of my goals, right? I'm very goal focused. You guys know how I am. I'm very disciplined. Again, masculine energy. When I say I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do it better than everybody else. I'm going to do it, right? And then when I'm going into fitness, I did that. Whatever I set my goals to, I will achieve it at any cost. That's just who I am. And so there was a moment I'm like, well, how do I tune into being able to do it from a feminine energy that's very fluid, that's very sort of relaxed, that's very going with the flow? Because I tried to do that for a week. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with the flow with my workouts, and then you just talk yourself out of it. You need that masculine energy to be able to do it. And here's what I've been able to find in my research. Feminine energy is very experience focused, and masculine energy is very result focused. So let's talk through that a little bit. So let's talk about working out. Masculine energy, when you're working out, you're going to be very much focused on your results, body, your measurements, right? The number on the scale. That's very masculine. The feminine energy of losing weight or getting fit would be the experience of it. How will this body feel? How does the experience of working out make me feel? How does that contribute to my self-care, with how my self-esteem is, my confidence, that experience? And the good thing about it is that here I'd say the feminine energy wins a little bit for me. And the reason is, even though previously I was going very much from a masculine point, is because I can relax with the end result and I can experience it now. To get to, from the masculine point of view, if we're looking at weight loss, you'll only be happy when you reach the end result, right? When I get to that goal weight, when I have my goal biceps or whatever, that's when I will be happy. With the feminine focus on the experience part of it, I can be happy now because I can experience working out as self-care, as self-esteem, as sensual, as taking care of my body and my needs. And so I can be happy now while I'm slowly moving towards my goals. So I'm like, this is actually a very good and healthier way of looking at it. It's very feminine experience focus. So I'm having to do that with a lot of things. And so I said, so how do I relate this to my business, to my YouTube channel, to my coaching business? And I can do it in a way, this is what I've come up with. And so I'm saying this because I know a lot of you guys work outside the home or you have businesses. So how can you do this? So if I'm looking at it from masculine energy, my business, I would be very much on how many subscribers do I have? How much money did I make today? How much money did I make at the end of the month? What are my goals? And those end results would define my success. Let's switch to feminine energy. If I'm looking at my business from feminine energy, I'm looking at how many people did I connect with today? How many people did I add value to? How many wonderful, juicy conversations did I have? How many questions did I invoke when I posted this comment? Like, was there like a delicious conversation going on? Were people engaged with the information that I have? Was there this flow of give and take where I give my information and then you share your knowledge, and where there's this flow? And it's the experience of having the YouTube channel and the business. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to make any money from it. Of course, you know, if I make money, that's great, but that is not going to define my success. My success will be defined in the experience of having this business and being able to connect with you guys in a very open and vulnerable way. And I'm like, whoa, like that's what I wanted from day one. But because all the YouTube analytics and the way even YouTube sends you the training and the coaching, it's very much focused on the numbers, right? There's like, how many subscribers do you have? How much money are you making? You know, how many comments are you getting? It's very different than saying the experience of connecting with you, the individual subscriber, the person that has came to you came to me, right, for some sort of entertainment or connection or some sort of an exchange. Am I providing that? And it has to be two-way. That's why most of my videos are live streams. It's because I need the connection to be a flowing connection where I'm saying something to you and then I can go here and say, okay, Stephanie just said, Mina, how do I make more girlfriends? In the past, I've always gotten along better with men. Stephanie, that is me. That is me. Women just feel very intimidated in my presence. And I've always had this problem. And here's why. Now I can explain it. It's because masculine energy is intimidating. It's powerful. I was leading with that. Now the feminine energy, when I switch off now, and this is very new to me, so this is a work in progress. You will hear more about this from me. I can be more about connecting with the female energy. Now that's not to say that there won't be insecure women still feeling insecure with my feminine power or my feminine energy. That is such as life. That is just how it is. But I'm hoping that, here's what's interesting thing, Stephanie, is that in order to cultivate more feminine energy, it helps to be around women that are in tune with their feminine energy. And the problem is that most women that we know, let's say you're in a work setting or in a school setting, all the women that you know are leading with their masculine energy just like you, because they're trying to achieve their goals, they're trying to live out their dreams, they're wearing a lot of hats, so they're kind of in the same boat as you are. And I was trying to look at my own life, and I'm like, all the women I know are very much living in their masculine energy. They are not in tune with their feminine energy. And then I realized that there is a feminine energy right under my nose that is very strong feminine energy. My daughter, she's 3 years old, and every person that comes in contact with her says that she is, one of my friend's fiance said that she is the most feminine woman that he's ever met, my 3-year-old. And I looked at him and I looked at my friend and I was like, should we be offended? But now I realize it why. And that's not to say that Alina can't kick some butt. Like, she rules the house. She's got her daddy, me, and her 2 brothers wrapped around her little fingers. She can body slam them, kick them, punch them, bite them if needed. But at the same time, this 3-year-old is so in tune with her feminine energy and her power because we haven't screwed it up yet, right? As she gets older, society, maybe my parenting, all of the things will tell her that masculine energy is more powerful and feminine energy is weak. And one of the things that I was learning in my research is that other women, it's the crab effect. You know how, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, where this was new information to me. If you put crabs like in a bowl and one of them tries to climb out, the other crabs will pull it back down and they won't let the crab out. And so there's no way of them ever getting out, because as soon as one of them gets to the top, they will all pull it down. And with feminine energy, anytime there is a a woman that's in tune with her feminine energy or trying, other women will make her feel weak and say, oh, you know, you're just weak, you're weak, and you're just you're submissive, you're oppressed, and a man is just going to walk all over you, you're a doormat. And that is not true. That is not feminine energy and power. That is just our perception of it. And so I'm so grateful that this information has come to me now, so that I don't ruin it with my daughter. And not that I don't want my daughter to be this powerful, fierce woman, but I want to teach her both how to be able to toggle between her masculine strengths, her masculine energy, and her feminine energy, so that she can be a well-balanced human being that can take advantage of all of our energies, right? And not just lead or live through one and then be unhappy and have something missing. So let's see what you guys are saying. Swati said, I feel somewhere that if you are more into feminine energy, men will be more kind of controlling over women. If we are more of surrendering nature, it's always better for men to pose their opinion on us. I'm not 100% sure I understand your question or comment, but I think I kind of get it, Swati. I think I kind of get it. It's not true. I think that's one of the myths. So let me give you an example. Because my husband is very masculine energy, and he has some feminine energy as well, but he's very masculine energy. My fear was that if I lead with feminine energy, I can tell you in the beginning of my marriage, this was a huge conflict. He would dominate me or control me. It's the complete opposite. I am leading with my feminine energy now, and he is coming home every day willing to like do whatever I say. Like what do I want to do? Like the minute something comes out of my mouth, like if I told him, can you jump out the window, there's a flower that fell, like I could imagine him doing that. It's so weird, but you would think that he would be more controlling over me, or that he would take over me. He literally said in the heat of the moment the other day to me that he's like, I just don't understand this power that you have all over me all of a sudden. And it was just a very weird thing to hear from his mouth, because I've never heard something like that from him. He's like, what is this power that you have over me? And so we think that men will control us, but when we lead with our feminine energy, we've got the man wrapped around our feet. They are willing to do anything and everything. The minute I start talking, he drops everything and he's just like listening and just connecting with me. So it's quite the opposite. I was trying to get heard from a very masculine perspective, and I could see him just tone out, zone out. And now when I'm speaking from a very feminine energy and feminine power, he's hanging on to every word. So I think this is a misconception. I don't know who started all of this, but somehow we've come to believe that we will be, just try it out. What do you have to lose? It's not like I can't bring my masculine energy back. I can in any second be like, you right there, like I'm back and no, you are not going. And the funny thing is, Swati, that actually feminine energy has very strong core boundaries. So it's not that you're so submissive that anybody can just take advantage over you or walk over you. That is certainly not me. I am very, like, my core is very strong. If you have strong boundaries, and then you're on the shell, like your outer is soft and your inner is strong and strength, and you have strong boundaries. So it's quite the opposite. You will be able to rule the planet, because everybody around us right now in the society that we live in is very masculine dominant. So if you are leading with feminine energy, you will notice that you will have men and women eating out of your hand. It's such a surreal experience. And now that I'm in tune to it, I'm finding other women that have shifted and been, they were living masculine lives and they're shifted, and they're saying it's like magic. And that's the only way I can describe it as well. I don't even understand. I have men and women just wanting to be in my presence, and they can't understand it. And a lot of these people I've known forever. So it's not like they just discovered me and I'm just some amazing person that they want to be around. They can't explain it. They want to be in my energy. And that's because there's such a lack in the world right now for feminine energy. Everybody's leading with masculine, that if you can really put your guard down for a minute, and what do you have to lose? Let's say you tried it and it sucks and you hate it and everybody's trying to control you. Get your masculine energy back out. What do you have to lose? You already are leading with that, right? So it really comes from a place of being vulnerable to be able to shut it down for a minute and say, you know what? And for us, I think it came to a point where in my relationship, we got to a point where it was like, what do we have to lose at this point? Like, let's just take it to the next level. Let's try this. And it's been amazingly powerful. And it's not just transforming my marriage, it's transforming my other relationships in the way that I'm interacting with everybody in my life. And it's making me feel more relaxed and at ease because I'm no longer the protector and the caregiver of everybody. I'm no longer the problem solver for the rest of the world. So the fifth one that I really want to talk about, and then I will be taking your questions and comments, is this is something I'm working on. The shift from being versus doing. Being versus doing. This is a strong one. I've always been, in my entire life, I've always been a doer. Like, let's get shit done. Let's get it done. Do. Let's knock out that goal list, that checklist. I've got 3 planners sitting right in front of me as I'm filming this video. That's me. Do. And now I'm shifting to being. And it's not that I'm still not getting things done. I am, but I'm allowing myself space in between tasks. I'm flowing and giving up a little bit of the control of things. And yes, this also means, because I'm in transition mode, this means some days I'm not doing all of my chores. But you know what I'm saying? So what? So my house is a little dustier today. So what? I'm just going to go with the flow with it. I'm going to connect better with my children. I'm going to love my husband, and I'm going to love myself and allow myself to be a little imperfect and allow my house to be a little imperfect. And so what? I just, it's that letting go of that control and surrendering to life, surrendering to everything, surrendering to masculine energy and accepting feminine energy. So it's a shift. It's not overnight. I'm still working on it. You will be hearing more about this from me because it's a work in progress. There's a couple other amazing YouTube channels that are talking about this, which I will reference for you guys because I want you guys to check them out. But those are women that have already done it. And so they have a lot of information and I really admire them. But I wanted to give you a different perspective in the point that I could have just checked out. My first reaction was, let me just take a break from YouTube, walk away, go and do this, and then come back and give you the information. But then you're missing out the journey part of it, and you're missing out the mistakes that I'm going to make and the falling down, and that's a journey, right? You don't just do everything the first go. There's a lot of trials and errors and failures, and I wanted to kind of do this with you guys. And again, part of it is as having that feminine tribe and that community to walk alongside with. And I want to do this with you guys. So let's see what you guys are saying. Stephanie said, what are some affirmations you use to enhance or tap into your feminine energy? So Stephanie, if you're in my Facebook group, then you are seeing some of those every single day. Oh my God. Guys, I literally just almost picked up my candle to drink when I just wanted some coffee. Definitely not cute. So some of the affirmations that I'm doing, one of the ones, I think I posted this today, is I'm fun, flirty, and playful. I'm fun, flirty, and playful. I have another one that I'm doing is I sway and move like a goddess, because the word goddess to me is a very feminine energy. So I'm saying, and not to say that a goddess is not powerful, right? So again, I'm saying that because I think a lot of us are so thinking that masculine energy is powerful and feminine energy. Think about it. A god is very powerful, right? Like, let's think of mythology, like Greek mythology or Hindu mythology, right? Let's think about some of the like the gods, right? And they're very powerful and they're these amazing visions of power. But who controls them? Who do they answer to? Who do they bow down to? The goddesses, like the female energy. So which one's more powerful? You tell me. The one that the gods are bowing down to. So would you rather be the god or the goddess? Like if I'm a female, hey, I find more power in being the goddess because now I've got the god at my beck and call. So that makes sense. This is just, I'm giving you guys an example. One example that I heard that I really liked was, think about the ship, carrying the passengers to the end goal, to the destination. That's the masculine energy. And the water, the fluid water that the ship rides on is the feminine energy because it's very fluid and flows. And I love that because I can kind of visualize that, and I get the difference between masculine and female energy. So some of the other affirmations are that I surrender to the flow of life. This is a big one because this is hard for me, and some I'm surrendering to the flow of life. If you guys have been following my videos for the last year, a lot of the things that I had already started doing before I come in contact with this information really helped me connect with my feminine energy. So the video I did on how to vacation every day, and like just how to live like a princess, and all of those videos I think helped me because slowly I was somehow leading, all of those things were leading into this transformation that I'm making now. So it's been an amazing experience. Oh, awesome. Artist said, so excited to catch a live stream, just home from work in Ireland. Awesome. So let me see, what else were you guys asking? Swati said, do you feel feminine energy is more of just discussing the problems and solving them, as against men trying to find the solution to the problem directly without much discussion? Swati, that's a great way. So that's one way of looking at it. The way I've convinced, because I'm a life coach, it's part of my job to listen to people and help solve their problems. I still need that part of me, right? And I'm a mom. Children come to me all the time with their problems. This is the shift. Before, I would listen quickly to their problem and instantly go into solving mode. And now what I'm doing is I'm very much slowing and pausing and letting them talk. And the minute that they stop, because they're used to me entering and interfering and solving, I ask them more questions. I'm very open, and I ask, well, how did that make you feel? And why do you think that you felt that way? And I'm sorry that you felt that way. I can completely relate to this. And digging into my past. So for example, a great example of this is, say that your child comes to you and they say that they could not find a place to sit at lunch because nobody saved them a seat, or they didn't have anybody to sit with at lunch. Your immediate reaction might be to tell them, well, why don't you dress better, or why don't you be more vocal, or maybe you should go and ask somebody, right? That's man mode. Let's solve your problem, right? Now the feminine energy would be, oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. I bet that made you feel really badly. How did you feel? And then feminine energy may be reliving one of your experiences, saying, I know exactly how you feel because I experienced this. When I was a child, I was in 7th grade, this happened to me. And so now you're connecting. And now let's say that through that connection, you happen to give them some guidance on what they can do next time. Maybe how can they work through their emotions. But these two experiences are very different, because in the first one, you just gave them, you bypassed their emotion. You didn't give them the time to work through how they felt in that moment and the heartbreak that they felt and how that really made them feel. And you didn't help them work through that, right? You didn't connect with them. You just solved their problem, maybe. Right? Maybe you gave them some helpful tips. Now in the second, feminine energy, you really got the chance to connect with them, that bond of like, I know how horrible that feels because I have been in your situation. Oh, that's awful. This is how I dealt with it, or this maybe next time, And so you want to make that connection first, and then you want to give them maybe some tips. And so this is, okay, so this is a child mother one. Let's talk about relationships. So let's say you have a boyfriend, or you have a husband, and he comes and he says, and this is, I'm giving you a true life example, because I have worked in the corporate world and I've also owned my own business. When my husband would come and say, oh, I had a tough day at work, my instinct would be like, oh, what happened? Oh, okay, maybe you can do this next time. And oh, this happened to me, but this is how, and it's very masculine energy. And all maybe he needed was, now what I'm doing is when he comes and I say, oh, that's awful, honey, what happened? Oh, that must have made you feel awful. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Now we're bonding, we're connecting. There's that feminine energy of that, I am here for you. I'm here to catch you. I am open to hearing what you have to say. I'm listening to you. We are connecting. We're bonding. That's a very different reaction than, it's a very different conversation than being into man mode and instantly connecting it to, it's, and I can relate to a lot of what he's saying because I've been in those situations, but at the same time, if he needed that kind of a connection, he probably already discussed it with his friend at work, right? His colleague, masculine energy, done. Like, he needs that feminine energy of that understanding and that openness, and that I have you, like, I'm listening. So it's hard to describe in words, but I hope that you guys are getting the essence of how it's very different. It allows him to be more vulnerable to me and be more open to sharing his weaknesses and his fears. He's not going to do that with another dude. He's not going to do that with masculine energy. He's going to only do it with feminine energy, because that's where he feels vulnerable. Yes, Stephanie, this is true. Stephanie said that feminine energy is very magnetic. Men don't even know what hit them. They don't understand what it is, but this is what repeatedly keeps coming up in my research, is that once you tune into it, men are instantly magnetized towards you. It's because of that polarity, right? It's like, a plus and a plus will repel each other, but it's that the opposite. You know how when we say opposites attract, it's true, but we have come to believe that opposite personalities attract. That is not true. Opposite personalities do not attract. Opposite energies attract. This has been a big mind change, because when I would hear opposites attract, I would always think personality. But no, it's energy. So they feel magnetic in your presence, and they don't even know why. They're drawn to you. It's because you are giving them feminine energy, which allows them to portray their dominant energy of masculine energy. It allows them to be who they truly are without feeling competitive, without feeling kind of guarded, or they're not feeling like they would feel with another man in the room. They're feeling how they would feel with feminine energy. It's very different. Artist said, I really like Stephanie's question about making more girlfriends. If you haven't answered it before I joined, Nate, can you please speak about it? I did answer it briefly. This is one where I'm working on this myself. And so, artist, what I said about that is that in the world that we live in now, because of our culture, most women that are probably also living in their masculine energy. And that's why it's, you guys have heard me say before that it's so hard now to make and have really true connections with women. First of all, that's the language. I have to change and stop saying that because I'm attracting it. But also, I find that the women that I know in my life are also leading very masculine dominant lives. They're wearing many hats. They're business owners. They're kick-ass corporate leaders. They're amazing women, but they're not living their life with feminine energy, so they can't help me with that. And so the challenge is to find women that are in tune with their feminine energy. So there's a couple ways to look at it. You can seek it out. To me, my daughter is the perfect example of having feminine energy all around me. I literally am watching and observing her in a very different light now, and how she's very light and flowy, and she doesn't care about all of the end goals. She cares about the experience, and it's because we haven't intervened and messed up that belief system for her. So she's leading very naturally, what comes very naturally to her. So there's one way, is that you find those role models in unexpected ways. You might not be thinking that I would find the most feminine energy around me as my 3-year-olds. All of my girlfriends, my sister, all my cousins, all of them are very much stuck in their masculine energy, because even though they look very feminine, because they're having to do the same things I'm having to do, survive and thrive and wear really many hats, right? That's the world that we live in. So one is find it in unexpected ways. The second one is that you be the leader in this. So you become the feminine energy, which allows other women maybe to put their guard down and say, she's making it okay. Now, in the beginning, you may get some resistance, because again, the crab effect is that women are, this is foreign to them. They see it as weakness. So they may try to pull you down and make you feel like you're weak, like, oh, you're going to bow down to a man. The interesting thing is, I've said this before, it's a lot of women, they don't want to bow down or be submissive to their husband. So they go out into the workforce, and they have to be submissive and bow down to their bosses and to their customers and their clients. It's like, you're still gonna have to do it somewhere. Like, this is just a society that we live in. It's like, why not use my feminine energy to be able to really deeply connect with my man and understand him and have that deep connection that I've always wanted, versus trying to fight him and compete with him in the name of being not oppressed, or and it's quite the opposite. In fact, he keeps saying that he feels very much in my power right now and just magnetically drawn to me, and he's really confused and he's loving it. So in the beginning you may get that resistance, but the way I'm handling is that I'm loving myself and allowing myself the space to be feminine and living in my feminine energy, despite having resistance from my girlfriends, or despite having resistance from family members, and just allowing me to be. It's being versus doing, right? And maybe that will rub off on some of my girlfriends, or it may give them the permission to be like, okay, maybe I now have the permission to do this as well and be a little bit more in my feminine power. I have girlfriends that have said to me previously, before I learned any of this information, that when they come see me, they feel like they have to dress up a little bit more. And I thought it was kind of funny, sometimes even offensive a few times. And I had to really think about that. And then I'm like, oh, it's because, they think that I put it as an effort in my look, so they have to put more effort in their look. And I'm like, well, that could be a compliment, because I'm raising all of their standards in how they should care for their bodies and how they should live. So maybe if you don't have feminine energy around you, you bring the feminine energy and let other people kind of feed off of that a little bit. Let's see. Sarah said, Mina, I'm so patient with my husband and I listen to him and his problems, but when it comes to kids, I feel so impatient. How do I change myself? Sarah, so affirmations can help in the moment. Sarah, this is what I do. Hi. In the moment, if I this happened to me yesterday. My son came to me, my soon to be 13-year-old, and he was telling me something, and my instant reaction, all I wanted to do was for him to be quiet so I can give him the solution. And I had to literally be like, connect, listen, connect. Right? And the mere action of doing that was taking away from my listening, but I had to bring myself back down and say, let him finish. And then when he finished, the instant need to jump right in, I'm breaking that cycle from asking questions. So my instant, how you can sense, we've all been there, admit it. When you're telling a story to somebody or sharing something, and you can sense that they can't wait for you to be quiet so they can just jump in, right? You can feel it. I feel it with people all the time, that they're not listening to me, they're just waiting for me to shut up so they can start talking. And if I can sense that in other people, I bet they can sense that in me as well. So how I'm breaking that cycle is that even though I may have been feeling that way, and I can tell that they have felt my energy because they quickly finished their story, what I do is that I'll ask them a question and surprise them, because they're like, oh wait, she wants to hear more. So I will ask a question and say something like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How did you feel? Or how did that make you feel? Or something like that, and invite more conversation. And then they have more of a chance to give more information, and then you can, offer your information. The other way, Sarah, is that the reason we're impatient with our children and we're kind of rushing them is because we are living a life that's very there's no space. So feminine energy, there's a lot of space, and not space as you think. So there isn't a lot of space between us and them. What it means is that there is a lot of space between tasks, between movement. There is space to live. For example, everything isn't scheduled at 1:15 I'm doing this, at 1:30 I'm doing this, and at 1:32 I'm doing this, because if you're living your life that way, it's very masculine. It's go, get this shit done, let's do this, right? It's very structured and very military. But if you have a life that you have intentionally created full of valuable things, but you have eliminated things that are time suckers, that aren't value, that you're just doing because the Joneses are doing it, your neighbors are doing it, those things you've gotten rid of, and really you have found intentionality in the way that you live, then you're allowed space. So dinner isn't a quick 20 minutes, it's as long as it needs to be, so that you can really connect with your family and speak and have a intimate conversation with them before you start flowing into the other task in the evening. And this is something that I've worked with in the last 2 years, really, in my life. And I think minimalism has helped, intentional living has helped, but it took conscious effort. It wasn't easy, it wasn't overnight, because the society that we live in it works, it's counterproductive. Like we're going against the grain, right? So it's not going to be easy. It's like we're going against the wind. And there are questions like, how come your kids aren't in every sport, or how come you're not doing, but like this is what we have chosen. And be very patient with how you reply to people. And oftentimes other people's judgments soon turn into questions and curiosity, because they notice that you are working at a much more efficient pace. You're getting still done, but you're not frazzled, you're not overwhelmed. You had time to comb your hair today. They start noticing that. And so that is my giving back to the world, by making other people see a mirror and realize that it doesn't have to be so fast paced. We don't have to get so much done that we miss all the important connections and the important moments. Again, feminine energy is very much about experience focused, not result focused. Yes, boo boo? You have to go, pee-pee? Mm-hmm. Okay, go. Call me if you need me. Okay. So, do you see the difference sort of in there? Naz said, how to undo all the masculine energy damage I have done in the past. So Naz, that's what I'm doing. So this whole video, we've talked about that. I don't know if you came in now, but if you watch the video from the beginning, that's what I'm talking about, is that, let's do a quick recap. So the first thing I did, and then I had to scratch that out, was that I was like, okay, here's the plan, here's the strategy and how I'm going to get my feminine energy back. And then I realized that having a strategy and a plan and a goal made it very masculine energy. So I nicked that. I said, okay, that can't work. And so I sat down and I thought about all the things that already made me very masculine, feminine energy, sorry. And that was my self-care, my grooming, my taking care of my body, having healthy body image, enjoying my sexuality, my sensuality, my femininity, my girliness. That was feminine energy. So I'm like, okay, so I have some things checked. Okay, good. One thing good. The second thing I did was that when I talk to people, when I listen to people, connect versus solve. Solving people's problems is masculine energy. Connecting with people, listening, being open to this flow of conversation is feminine energy. Third thing is that be open and surrender to life and to the people around you, and especially to your man, your partner. Surrender. Be open to receive what he's giving you and not constantly have this need to control, have an agenda. One of the things that really helped me was when you are with a man, let's say you're dating a man or you're even married to a man, you're dating and you come and you're auditioning for the role of wife, where you're trying to pretend like or live up to or showcase all of your best features of what would make you an amazing wife or an amazing girlfriend. That's very masculine energy. Even though you're auditioning for a wife, that's very masculine energy because you have an agenda. A true connection with a man is just being with a man and enjoying his presence and just enjoying what he has to offer and his conversation and his love and his energy without an agenda. So that's being open and being willing to surrender. In a married relationship, if you are affectionate with your husband because you want him to do something for you, or you want him to buy something for you, if you want him to do chores for you, or you want him to take you on vacation, that's an agenda. Men can sense that. That's a different energy, it's masculine energy. Now, if you are with your husband because you just want to connect with him, you want to listen to him, you want to love on him, and you just want to have a bond with him, that is feminine energy. Yes, baby? You need me? Okay. All right, guys, I sincerely apologize, but I will have to cut this live chat short. My daughter is calling me. But I gave you guys all the information that I wanted to for this live chat, and leave your comments in the description box below. And if you're watching this in the after the live stream is over, I would love to continue this conversation and hopefully bring you more information as I'm learning it and applying it in my own life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and connecting with me. And I come to you from my feminine energy, hopefully this time, and hopefully you guys will see a change in my videos as well, as I try to bring forth more feminine energy in all of my life. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.